Welcome to CRJ 211. This week we're looking at Chapter 19, which talks about sentencing and punishment. Now, the concept of criminal punishment is really of ancient origin. It really progressed when the Old Testament mandated an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Now, although some considered it a little more than legalized vengeance, retribution involved the idea of proportionality. Now, under English common law, punishment was severe and often inflicted in public to deter others from crime. Now, death by beheading or hanging for felonies and corporal punishment for many misdemeanors was quite common. Now, the Eighth Amendment, which was ratified in 1791, outlawed cruel and unusual punishments. However, that did not prohibit the death penalty, nor did it abolish all forms of corporal punishment. Now, sentencing and punishment involve both substantive and procedural questions of law. Criminal sentences in America today might include one or more combination of probation, community service, community control, monetary fines, and incarceration. Now, in many states, and for some federal offenses, courts may impose the death penalty. Now, there is considerable disagreement on the appropriateness of certain or specific modes of punishment. Now, concern over disparities in sentences has resulted in certain measures to reduce the range of judicial discretion that's available in sentencing. There have also been questions raised as to the appropriateness of certain forms of punishment, most notably the death penalty, as well as the process by which sentences should be determined. In addition to discussing those issues, the chapter also reviews the various forms of sentences, the trends in imposing those sentences, and briefly discusses the rights of prisoners and crime victims. So after reading this chapter, you should be able to help explain what are the different forms of criminal punishment used today, the different rationales behind criminal punishment, the constitutional issues surrounding the death penalty, and how courts have traditionally addressed those issues, how the sentencing process works in non-capital cases, how and why the sentencing process is more elaborate in death penalty cases, how and why judges grant and then revoke probation, why and how statutes might constrain judges' sentencing decisions, how the federal sentencing guidelines operate, what constitutional rights do people in prison have, and finally, what rights do victims of crime have. Next time, we'll take a look at Chapter 20, which is the last chapter of the book, which explores the appeal and post-conviction relief that's available to people.